Hello, everyone, and welcome from snowy Frankfurt. My name is Bogdan, and I'm the host of the Crossroads podcast. And I'm very happy to have with me here today Clara. Hi, Clara, how are you?
Hi, Bogdan. I'm fine, thanks. So nice to see you after all this time.
Same for me. Really glad to have this opportunity to catch up. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself for the audience?
Sure. My name is Clara. I am an Italian citizen living currently in Mozambique. It's been now 2 years that I've been living here. Perhaps I can say where we met, right? We met several years ago. We met several years ago, I think 5 years ago, in Turin. We were attending this training preparation to leave for a new experience abroad. Very happy to see you and talk to you again.
Same for me, and happy to see you're still on the field, so to say. So I think definitely you can maybe go into more details later, but really happy to see you and to catch up. Have you thought about a specific crossroad for today's episode?
Yes, I did. Actually, thanks a lot for inviting me. When I came across your podcast, as I was saying before, I really thought it was a cool idea. Whenever ever I thought I would be part of this, but thanks a lot. So in my life, I had several crossroads. I think I can call them crossroads, but I think perhaps the one that changed the course of my life, let's say, will be indeed the one where we met, which is the fact that I got a job. Well, I got an opportunity to work in another continent, to work in Kenya, so in Africa. That opportunity was supposed, to last only for 1 year. Yet here I am after 5 years still working on the field. And I think that for me, that the experience marked a change in my life. Not only work-wise, so surely it really changed the course of my career, but it also changed the person that I am now. It really, let's say that crossroad provided me with an opportunity of growth, with an opportunity to grow personally, professionally, and it really shaped who I am now. I thought it would be interesting perhaps to talk a little bit about that, if you think it's fine. Again, not only from a work perspective, but also from a personal growth perspective.
I think it's a great idea, Clara, and thank you very much for sharing this. Maybe just to go chronologically, can you say a bit about the beginning of this crossroad? How did it start? How was perhaps the beginning of the new experience, new continent, new job, new development, and then just take it from there and take us briefly to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So, all right. I was in 2018. This story dates back to 2018. I was living in Brussels. I had a very nice life there. Very ordinary, but in a positive sense. Very nice life. I had a good job. I had amazing friends there. I was very happy with what I had achieved so far. But inside of me, there was, this, I don't know if you ever felt this hunger, I don't know, as if I was looking for something else, but I didn't know what I was looking for exactly. As in most times of my life. So I came across this opportunity. So I applied for this fellowship program that you know very well. And eventually, without even realizing it, I wasn't really, I was hoping for that, but I wasn't really thinking I would get this fellowship. Eventually I got it. And, the year after, in 2019, I found myself all of a sudden living in Kenya, in a complete different environment from where I was coming from. Culturally speaking, completely different. A new experience at work, completely different experience, because before I was doing a different type of work. So yeah, I found myself in this new environment, new people. It was, I think, the first time I was really leaving everything behind just to go on this adventure. At the time, I didn't realize, but it was exactly what I needed. So the crossroad for me was deciding eventually to leave everything behind, sort of, not behind, but to put on all the life that I was having to try this new experience for myself, for my personal growth. That experience changed me completely, because I was supposed to be there 1 year, and eventually, I didn't come back yet. I guess that for me, that choice of living represented, taught me how important it is to be true to yourself. I kind of hesitated a little bit when I got this opportunity. I was like, why should I leave everything that I have already achieved? Why should I leave all my comfort zone, all my friends, my pillars in life, just to go into a new place? I never thought that that opportunity would be only a professional growth. I try to always make sure that every choice I make also helps me to grow personally. So I don't see that only, as a career achievement. So I was, when I decided to leave, I was eventually, I thought, okay, I need to be honest with myself. I need to be true to myself. And I know this is perhaps what I'm looking for, this new experience. It would be it will be good for me. So I did that. And I'm looking back now. I'm very glad I made that choice. Very, very glad. No, just because the person I am now really depended a lot on the choice I made also at the time. It really, like I said, shaped me in a positive way. If I hadn't chosen to leave, perhaps I would have been a completely different person. And I also believe that, I just want to stress that being true to yourself doesn't necessarily mean doing, always going out of your comfort zone. I mean, in this society, we always stress the fact that we have to be the best. We have to do so many things at the same time. We have to multitask. We have to be to do the most adventurous experiences. It's not that. It's not about that at all. Being true to yourself, I think, means knowing yourself, knowing what you want, knowing what you need. And eventually, if you don't like a situation you're in, you can always change it. I think that's the concept that I learned from that crossroads. And I always try to remember that every time I face a bottleneck, or I doubt myself, or I doubt whatever I'm doing. I always try to think, what do I really want? What do I really need? Let's not think about what the other people want from you. Just think about what do you want from yourself. These concepts most times might pass as selfishness, or I don't know. Especially, I believe, if you're a woman, being a woman, it doesn't really help these days.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that's something I unfortunately have to confirm. But because you always find yourself doubting a lot, and also thinking a lot about the social pressure that you might get, especially when you reach a certain age, like especially in your 30s. So you end up doubting yourself a lot. But I guess that the key to be happy eventually is to, that's my experience. The key to be happy is eventually to be, to be honest with yourself, true with yourself, and everything eventually will fall into place.
I like this good, positive, and optimistic, I would say, also a way of looking at things, that eventually the right thing will find you and will find its right place. I really liked also what you mentioned before, the guiding question, maybe we could call it, what do you want and what do you like in life? Well, that was important for you to think about. And I also agree that this doesn't have to mean it's in a selfish way, but rather just in a self-centered way, in a way that puts also your needs and recognizes them as important, rather than just making you live perhaps things with regrets or uncertainty. So I wondered, now looking backwards, now 5 years later, than that moment when you were having a comfortable life, but you were missing perhaps something. Have you figured out, it was not clear to you exactly what you were missing. Have you figured out now what you were missing, and have you found it?
Yes, I did figure it out what I was missing. I don't know if I found it 100%, but no, yeah, I think I was, what I was missing is knowing myself, like really knowing who I was, knowing, when I was, before moving to Kenya, for instance, and then later on to Mozambique, I was having like I said, a very nice life, but I wasn't sure exactly, like I wasn't completely fulfilled. Like I knew I wanted to experience, go a bit on the field, let's say, and so that for sure was an added value for me. Another, let's say, another discovery that I made throughout these past 5 years is that perhaps some of the choices I was making, or some of the thoughts I had, were not necessarily coming from me, but more from the culture I was born into, or from the society that I grew up into. So, for instance, before having this experience, having the chance to experience this new journey, I thought I had a very clear idea of what my life was supposed to be. I found out eventually that nothing goes as planned most times. And that's okay. Like it's not the end of the world. It's not that every and each one of us has to have the exact same path and has to have the same, or has to achieve the same goals by a certain age, or eventually people can have different needs, or different different goals at different times or at different ages. I think that was the main that was a sort of revelation for me, because it was really hard for me to eventually get to understand this concept, but it really gave me a lot of freedom, in the sense that I understood that I can eventually make my own choices, and I can be happy with myself as long as I respect what I want and I'm true to myself. Obviously, that doesn't mean throughout these years, during the course of these years, I doubted myself a lot. I had a lot of up and downs, as everyone, and then during my down moments, I was always thinking, yeah, why am I doing that? Like, why am I doing this to myself? I could be, not in my home, but I could be, close to my friends, to my family. Everything could be much easier. Everything could be much more, um, much more, I could be in a place where I know what I'm doing and where I know what I will do in 10 years. I could have a plan. I could have a long-term plan. Eventually, then I realize also that somehow, even if you don't see in the short term, you don't see or you cannot touch the results of your efforts, you're still building something. Perhaps it's more abstract, but perhaps it's also more important. You don't see it, but what you're building is your personality, is your inner strength. And perhaps this is even more important than having everything planned, everything settled already, right? For me, that was really it really helped me to feel more free and to make more personal and free choices, let's say.
What would you say was the thing that helped you most in discovering this new part of yourself and being more free? Is it the fact of being on a different continent? Is it something that comes with it, meaning a specific type of, you associate this to a specific type of people that you met, a specific type of job, or is it just simply also the feeling of having everything a bit more spontaneous and less planned?
I think so. Going in a new place, going to a new place where you really don't know anyone, and not only you don't know anyone, but you don't know how things work. You don't know how this society works. You don't know how that you're not really into the cultural. You don't really know very well how the culture works there. So going to a completely new place is like you're pushing on reset button and you're starting all over again. So that really gives you the chance to have a new life. You can start from scratch. You can really decide who you want to be. So that sort of freedom really gives you also allows you to have this, it gives you also the privilege to reinvent yourself, to rediscover yourself. So that was really important. That really made a difference. Obviously, when you move to a new place, you can really you're exposed to meeting a lot of people with different cultures who have a completely different background than you, who really think differently than you. So that's a lot of input there, and obviously you start to question yourself, but not in a bad way, but you kind of think, okay, good, there is not only one path here, there is not only one idea, one thought on this specific matter or on this specific issue. So perhaps I should also question myself a little bit more. So that's for me, that made a difference for sure. And I know it's definitely it can be I somehow you can also get lost into all these inputs, right, in all these different places where you are yourself, but you are also no one at the same time. So you can get really lost. It's like you are a sailor in the ocean and you are always trying to eventually find your safe place. So sometimes you can feel a little bit lost, but I think it's the price to pay for this sort of freedom that you that I wanted to catch somehow.
And I also noticed a quote that I really liked on your profile, which said that it's never a peaceful sea that makes the good sailor. So I think definitely.
I definitely managed compared to who I was, perhaps while I was living in my own town or while I was living, before having the chance of having these experiences. Perhaps I would say the biggest difference is that I finally know myself. I know who I am, and which may sound really basic, right? A basic concept, but for me it wasn't at the time. Like I was really I was making choices and doing things because I thought I had to do those things. But for me, mm, getting to know who I was really helped me to understand what I wanted, and again, being true to myself and being honest with myself. And I think each of us has this, this lifeblood inside, this sort of inner source, that inner strength that really eventually comes out. It's just a matter of listening to it, because if you listen to it, you manage to be happy, you manage to do what you really want, or who you really want to be. If you don't listen to it, it will kill you. That's my like, it might take some time, but eventually if you don't live the life you want, it's really it's a pity, right? So that's but again, this doesn't mean that you always have to go change continent, or change life. If you know if you know that you want to live in a certain place, or you want to have this specific thing, you want to buy a house, really wherever you feel like, and you're honest with yourself, then I think that's how things work out well for you, and for eventually for everyone. It's really not about doing everything big as possible. It's just being honest with yourself. That's really what that crossroad at the time really helped me to understand.
And I'm curious, what's your opinion about bringing this type of energy and this type of purpose that you found for yourself? What would be the best way, or is there a way to bring it into the, let's say, a life that is not far away from home, but rather closer to your inner circle, as you said, and to a life where you're just making long-term plans and so on? I don't want to say back to your previous life, but to somewhere where you're not, let's say, far from home. Is there a way, and what do you think about it?
That's what I'm trying to discover these days. It's there is a bit of a clash between, right, these two spheres of my life at the moment. It's tricky, but I think eventually, I don't know, I always thought that whatever like whatever is meant to be in your life will the person or the situation will be there. So I think, indeed, it's not easy to combine everything. I guess eventually, for instance, right now I'm trying to to be closer to family, to reconnect with the family and friends, my childhood friends, for instance, who are far away. They have been far away now for many years. I've been living far away from them, so I'm trying to reconnect. I'm trying to get closer to them. But this doesn't mean that the past years will be cancelled. I mean, this is something it's an experience that I developed, and I will cherish within me for the rest of my life. It really shaped me, shaped my personality right now, and I'm very happy about that. then obviously in life priorities change, and I don't see myself living in Africa forever. For instance, I see myself getting closer to to the people I love the most. But yeah, it's a matter of also of priorities. There is a certain period for each. Like I guess my priorities right now change compared to my priorities 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So surely I will. There will be some being true to myself. I will try to get closer to the again to the family, to the focus a little bit more also on the personal sphere, and something that's these past years I left. These past years it was a little bit far from my life.
And I would like to ask you as a last question, perhaps, for everyone that is listening and would be interested in a similar experience. Would you have any advice, given all the experiences that you accumulated in the sector and also on the field in Africa, but it could be, of course, anywhere else in the world? Would you have any experience of how to embark this type of adventures?
I would say just not to be, if you really feel like doing a similar experience, just not to be afraid, and not to be just not to think too much about it. Also, that's something that somehow helped me to make my choice. I just trusted my gut, and I said, okay, let's go. So just not to think about it too much, and then also thinking that it's really an enriching experience. So my advice would be to look at it with more positive, looking more at the positive side of this, that this experience could give you, rather than more of the negative, on what you're missing out, on what you will be leaving behind. Just to look more at what you will gain rather than what you will be leave behind.
Thank you very much, Clara. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Bogdan.